Ana's meta. Bastion, a troll pick. Mercy, useless. Sim, change please. We hear all sorts of desperate comments when picking our heroes.
But how many of those statements are really on point? And what do we even mean by meta?
In this video, we will give you our opinion on what are the best and worst characters to play in the Limbo for Season 13. Because no matter how you look at it, low-ranked players shouldn't try to imitate pros.
And shouldn't listen to every YouTuber out there who's talking about the meta like a golden rule to follow. So we'll also explain what we call meta, why the losties shouldn't care about it, and what are the concepts you should keep in mind while choosing your hero.
Game on!
Hey guys, this is Alex.
See here!
And this is Overwatch Limbo, the only channel made for Overwatch competitive lost souls. So if you're confused about competitive games, you don't know how to start, or you've been playing for a while and you're still stuck in bronze, silver or gold ranks and wish to do better, embrace the Limbo with us and consider subscribing.
Thanks for the love.
Alright, so today we'll talk about the meta. Season 13 has just started and you'll see heaps of videos popping up about the current meta or the best and worst heroes to play this season.
Perfect! They've done the job for us. Now, I'm gonna go hit my favorite bed and fall asleep.
No, wait, see, we're not done here yet. Where do you think you're going?
What? The meta is basically the group of heroes that everyone has to play to win, no?
Not exactly. Some says the term meta is short for most effective tactic available. Some thinks it refers to the game outside the game, or in other words, the tactics and strategies devised by the players in order to win more easily.
That's just what I said! For Overwatch, it's about picking the best heroes or picking the best team composition.
Sure, a character that is meta is considered one of the most effective ones. But there are two important factors that make the meta in Overwatch very deceptive. First, the game is evolving all the time. With constant updates, patches, reworks and new heroes, features and maps every other month, the balance of the game is continuously changing.
That's why the meta changes all the time too. One super strong hero suddenly becomes unplayable. A bit tragic for one-trick players when their favorite hero turns into Unicorn Poo-Poo. Mercy mains, I feel you.
Yes. And the second reason why players and especially losties should really be careful with people talking about the meta is because it's decided by and for very high level players. Even masters don't stick to the meta that much, and for good reasons.
No way! Pros are spending days and nights on Overwatch. Who better than them could choose which are the best heroes to play with? Why ignoring their blood, sweat and tears?
Because their skills and quality of plays are on a whole different level. It's not like chess, where the best opening, the opening meta, can be used by anyone. It will always stay the best opening. In Overwatch, not everyone can extract the full potential of a hero. It's quite the opposite, only a few elites can.
Well, I don't think Pro Mercy and regular Mercy players are that different. Mercy is not that complicated, right? Just heal and escape, heal and escape, heal and escape. And try not to rest that stupid Ryan who left on a journey with Frodo.
Goodbye.
Maybe not that much with Mercy, I give you that. But with heroes that are not only very difficult to play, but also that greatly reward the time you invest in them, in other words with characters with high skill ceiling, like Tracer or Genji, then yes, the difference will be huge.
No wonder why in my games, Mei seems to have this strange fetish for walling enemies from my finishing blows, why Ana's feet are constantly soaked in self-healing potions, and why Tracer is more like drunken flesh on a trolling mission than the bloodthirsty serial killer that we see in the Overwatch League.
And that's one reason why the losties shouldn't care about the meta so much. The other reason is because at low ranks, people don't play like in Grandmasters or top 500.
Right. The experience is completely different. There's no team play, no communication, no grouping up, no strategies or synergies or any sort. Can we even call it by the same name, to be honest? It should be Solo Watch.
Games in the Limbos are fairly chaotic. The setting and the interpretation are surely very different from pros and Grandmaster games, so it would be quite useless to use the best tactics in low-ranks games.
Yeah, because most if not all advanced strategies are based on team cooperation. Ask silver teammates to run Goat's comp with you, and you will get a list of question marks. If you get any answer at all, that is.
And even if you find people knowing about that particular composition, how many will know how to effectively make it work?
Impossible. It requires too much game sense, positioning skills, and communication to run this comp properly in the Limbo. Kinda like wishing that my friends and I made on time for our girls' night out. It's just not gonna happen.
That's why the meta is definitely not something the losties should pay attention to. It just doesn't apply well to low-rank games.
Okay guys, did you hear that? Just forget about the meta. It's for the elite. It's not for us. Don't listen to anyone who uses that argument on you for picking Bastion, capiche? Don't pick Bastion, he's a trash. But damn, how am I gonna justify my shit talking about him now?
Well, why not use the Limbo's meta?
Right! We said we will share our opinion on the best heroes to play in Season 13. So we'll basically create our own meta.
Starting with the worst characters to play though.
Heroes that the losties should never play no matter what. Like Bastion?
Heroes that in our opinion should not be a priority and should be picked only in very specific circumstances.
Like Bastion, when you want to make your team lose the game?
Yes, like Bastion. When you are really good with him, your team is willing to play around you, the map is suited for him, and the enemy doesn't have any of his counters.
So, never at our level. Good to know.
Actually, we will go a little bit further than just giving you our opinion. We made our selection slightly more pragmatically than pure subjective assessments.
No Bastion.
We used a hero classification based on a few stats and safe estimations of our own to rate the hero's basic characteristics. Here's what it looks like.
As you can see, there are 7 values, all heroes being rated from 1 to 3 stars, 3 being the best.
The goal of this table is to be able to point out more accurately which heroes fit into the ideal Limbo's character and which don't. But Limbo is a really messy place.
No Bastion.
Being stuck in there for a long time is really discouraging. Fair matches are rare. You either roll over the enemy or you get wrecked, but rarely fight evenly.
And we explain in details why it is so in our first video. Make sure to check it out if you haven't already.
So, since there's barely any team play and communication at low ranks, and the losses' mechanical skills, game sense and positioning are probably not the best yet, heroes that are difficult to play, that require communication to be really effective, that need their teammates to survive, or even characters that thrive with or against groups will be a lot less effective in the Limbo.
And according to the table, the 6 worst heroes to play in the Limbo at the moment are McCree, Winston, Tracer, Wrecking Ball, Ana, and Widow. Makes sense. They're all freaking hard to use decently. Don't get me started on them. You either need crazy skills to deal with their moves without getting dizzy, or amazing positioning and ability cooldowns management to stay alive. But why McCree?
McCree, like Widow or Ana, needs very good aim to be efficient. But on top of that, he seems to be quite weak in the meta right now, since even at Grandmaster level, his win rate is extremely low.
And what about Genji, Doomfist, and Sombra? They're very difficult to play too.
Genji and Doomfist are top tier damage heroes at high level, but it's a whole different story in the Limbo. If we look at our table, they are not doing that great, but looking at their win rate, they are okay, just average. Not the best choice as we can see, but not the worst.
No need to rage if you see a Doomfist or a Genji in your team then. They will do their part even in the Limbo. But Sombra, oh my dear, she's definitely a throw pig looking at those numbers, isn't she?
Sombra is a special case. A lot of YouTubers tend to push the idea that she's quite strong and very useful in the right hands. That might be true at high level with a team working with her, but even at Grandmaster rank, her win rate is very low.
So I guess that's why Sombra is the worst hero at low ranks, where communication and teamwork are nowhere to be seen. A hero like Sombra, whose kit effectiveness relies so much on team coordination, can't do anything.
Yes, Sombra is really a big no-no. And you can't politely argue to anyone who pick her, but even if they are an amazing Sombra, they won't get the support they need to get results. Any other DPS will bring more value to the team.
Oh yeah, having a Sombra in the team really feels like fighting 5 versus 6. So please don't ever pick her in comp.
And to people who pick her to counter an annoying Wrecking Ball or Doomfist, just note that she can't take them down by herself. And if she doesn't time properly and communicate when she will hack them, her efforts will be lost, and the battle most probably will be too.
If that hamster really pisses you off, consider Mei, Reaper, Ana, or Pharah to shut him down. And for Doomfist, any diva player should take care of him quite easily. Otherwise, long-range DPS Widow, Hanzo, McCree, and soon Ashe will give him shit. Even Orisa or Mei can seriously mess up with him. So no need for Sombra, really.
Alright, let's summarize. Sombra is by far the worst hero to pick right now. Then, according to both our classification and win rate averages, characters like Tracer, McCree, Winston, Widow, Ana, Zarya, and Wrecking Ball should then ideally be in your initial team to get the best chances to win.
But then of course, it all depends on the players and the situation. A very good Zarya, for example, would definitely make the difference. But the problem is, how do you know you're good? And how can we trust you anyway?
Everyone tends to think they are better than they actually are, and think they deserve a higher SR than they have. It's only natural. But to be sure you're not wasting your time and losing games maining one of the heroes we mentioned, why not checking out your actual level?
And how do we do that?
To roughly know what you're worth, there's a few ways. You can unlock your profile and check your statistics on one of the different websites available, like Overbuff.com for example. You can get your footage reviewed by a coach or high-ranked player, or you can look at your win rate in-game with each character. Just make sure to look at the competitive stats and to have enough play time to get an accurate number. Let's say at least 10 games or 3 hours of gameplay. But obviously, more the data the better. If you have more than 50% win rate with one hero, you can legitimately say that you are good enough to put up a fight with him.
50%? But it means you can't rank up if your best hero has only 50% win rate.
That's actually a huge misconception. You are doing pretty well with 50% and you will gain SR if you play good enough. We will talk about it in another video, so make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notifications of our latest content.
So, with at least 50%, I'm good to go, huh? Well, in that case, you can still play Ana or Widow. I won't say anything. But honestly, it would be better if you have 60% to convince me, haha. Gold guns, silver borders, medals and cards, all that is meaningless. And the most important thing is, don't think that you can be good at every character.
Exactly. If you get to gold by mainly playing Moira, for example, don't think you will be automatically good enough with heroes you barely played in comp so far. You won't. If winning matters to you, practice a lot before trying heroes in comp.
We will also talk about how to practice a new hero and how to know when you're ready to go comp with it in a different video. Just don't be reckless, guys. It's not only you who lose SR, it's 5 other people too. And they do care about losing. So please, be nice and be responsible, guys. Play only heroes you're good at.
Games would be surely much better if everyone was doing that. Because for now, numbers show that players don't realize they're not good enough to play some heroes. The most obvious example is Ana.
Oh yeah, she's a must-pick in Grandmaster, so she's considered meta, but in the Limbo, Anas are not doing that good. And I'm being nice here.
Her win rate shows that quite well. She's the worst support character right now in that term. She will lose 10% more games than Zen, for example. And that is because people pick her way too much. She's a very valuable hero and works in most situations, so the problem is the level of the players. In the Limbo, too many players pick Ana while they are not good enough with her.
I mean, we're in bronze, silver, and gold ranks. We're all making mistakes and playing bad compared to high-tier players. But there's a difference between playing bad because you don't know what you have to do, you just lack game sense and experience, and you playing bad because your aim is crap and you can hit a pig 20 meters from you.
If people lack understanding and knowledge of the game, there's nothing to do immediately that will change the tides of the matches. It will come with time. But when mechanical skills are off, the best way to help the team for the time being is to pick heroes that don't require much skills. And that's exactly what we recommend to all losties.
So what comes to mind instantly in support characters? Mercy, Moira, Lucio, Brigitte are all easy characters to use and will bring instant value to the team. Too bad you can't make a team with only healers.
True. You need a more balanced composition, of course. So let's look at our table. First 2 positions are occupied by Brigitte and Zenyatta. 2 supports like you said. And Lucio shares the 3rd position with Mei. That makes 3. With Moira and Mercy not far behind, you are right to think that supports are usually good characters to pick for the losties.
Also, as I thought, Ryan is the best tank. He's definitely the most valuable tank to play at the moment. You rarely see a match without him. And the second best tank is D.Va. Yay!
The duo Ryan D.Va is clearly the most balanced and versatile pair of tanks we can have. Alternatively, on defense mainly, Orisa can be chosen too. People know now that maps she's efficient on, so her win rate is quite good.
Okay, great. All that seems reasonable, but for the DPS category, you can't think about recommending Mei or Torb, can you?
That's the thing with niche heroes. They are really strong in certain scenarios and thus get high win rates but can rarely get picked. If you know where to play them efficiently, then go for them without hesitation. And that includes Mei, Torb, but also Symmetra and Bastion. Plus, Torb changed a lot recently, and first stats analysis show that he's now quite a strong pick in more occasions than before, if not a must pick.
His rework was that amazing, huh? I still think people should learn to play the new Torb correctly before choosing him more consistently in comp. His new play style requires more aim, mechanical skills, positioning, and a good reading of the flow of the battle in order to get the turret to move around effectively and be deadly with it.
Yeah, it will take a bit more time before the new Torb can completely show his value in the stats. In the meantime, according to our table and confirmed by their win rate, the two best DPS characters are Pharah and Junkrat.
What a surprise! Two long-range spamming heroes that don't require much skill to use and can destroy the enemy team without any real effort if you don't counter them.
Pharah and Junkrat are surely two strong picks in the Limbo. Their damage output and ability to finish target off are amongst the best. On top of that, they can counter the scary Reinbrig combo, which is, if not a necessity, certainly a big plus.
The problem with those two is that they don't work well together. They basically have the same role. I know that Pharah's recent changes made her more deadly at mid to short ranges, but still no. Their main job is to weaken enemy lines from off angles, so the front lines can have the upper hand. But without any DPS in the heart of the battle to deal the final blow, it's hard to win teamfights.
You're right. That's why even though their win rates are barely average and we don't recommend them, to complete your team composition adequately, you might want to go for Doomfist, Reaper, Soldier Hanzo, or even Genji. As long as the person who plays one of those heroes know what he's doing, it should be fine.
What about having Torb in that spot then, since you think he will surely do great from now on?
Looking at the stats, he does a great deal of damage, very similar to Pharah and Junkrat on that aspect, but failed to give a final blow that often. In that sense, he would more likely take Pharah's or Junkrat's place instead of working with them.
So let's sum up, guys. The best heroes to pick in the Limbo are Rein, D.Va, and Orisa for tanks, Brigitte, Zen, Lucio, Moira, and Mercy in terms of support, and Pharah, Junkrat, and maybe Torb for the damage category.
If you don't know how to play properly any of those heroes, you might want to consider practicing at least a couple to increase your team's chances of winning.
Also, note that Mercy doesn't have a great win rate either, and she's technically not the best choice to be honest, even though she's still getting picked a lot at low ranks. We would recommend her over Moira only if Pharah takes the DPS spot, forming this way the terrifying Pharah-Mercy combo.
In fact, let's see what our team composed of the best picks will look like on top of Pharah-Mercy. So we have Pharah, Mercy, and then obviously Rein and D.Va on attack, and sometimes Orisa D.Va on defense, and some control maps. For the second support, Brigitte and Lucio will synergize well with Rein, while Zen's destructive power could actually be more useful to defensive settings with Orisa to shield him. And finally, the last damage spot should be taken by one of the 5 DPS we mentioned before: Doomfist, Reaper, Genji, Soldier, and Hanzo, with the first 3 better on attack and the last 2 better on defense.
With Junkrat or Torb instead of Pharah, prefer Moira, whose kill participation and ult frequency are more useful than Mercy's damage amp. And here you have it, the best team compositions possible in the Limbo.
Provided that you have players good enough with those heroes, your team will definitely have a better chance to win the game if you run those compositions.
But then again, don't force anyone to play a character they haven't really mastered. It won't get you anywhere. People should always play heroes they are good at. Better have 3 good DPS to support 1 tank than having a classic 2-2-2 with one of the DPS trying to Rein or D.Va.
And that would be it for today. Do you agree with our selection? Make sure to let us know in the comments below. Just keep in mind the Limbo's meta will be changing very soon again, so stay tuned for the meta updates if you like our selection.
So, don't hesitate to hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, or the dislike one if you hated it. Tell us what we can improve or what you want us to talk about in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more content like this one.
Thank you so much for watching, and remember, losties,
Lose SR, not your mind.
business, my rules.